At the 1994 USA Bodybuilding Championships, we're backstage talking with heavyweight competitor Jeremy Freeman. Jeremy, we'd like to welcome you before our video action cameras for the first time, and welcome to the ranks of the top-level amateur competition. How does it feel to be in this show today?
A little overwhelming, a lot of big guys. When I got here, I couldn't believe the size of some of them. I pretty much came for the experience and maybe a little bit of exposure, and just to see how I fare against the guys on the national level.
And how do you think you fared against the guys on the national level?
Well, I think that with another couple of years under my belt, I'll be able to stand up there with them and, take the top placings.
What is the experience like coming to a national show and really not knowing quite what you're going to see, and then seeing some of the people you've been watching in the magazines, and suddenly face-to-face, shoulder-to-shoulder, you realize that they've paid their dues, and now it's time for you to also put that kind of time in to bring your level up to theirs?
Well, it's definitely, like I said, it's overwhelming. It's a different feeling. I mean, when you're competing against people that you've seen in the magazines, and I live in a little town, and I don't see any of those I don't see any bodybuilders that are, the size of these guys, so I don't really know how I compare to people like this.
So you're the one who's overwhelming the competition back home, then?
Yeah, pretty much.
They probably think that you're the biggest person they've ever seen.
They think that I'm big, but then when you come here, you get a whole different story. See the real big boys.
Well, on the other hand, it must be an uplifting experience, too, because when you go back home, back to the old drawing board, then you rechart your progress all over again.
Exactly. I know where I got to go now. I know how much more work I have to do.
Where do you call home, Jeremy?
I live in Central Square, New York, right north of Syracuse, New York.
Okay, so that's what we call upstate New York.
Exactly.
Right. Because those of us who live in New York City call anything north of the Bronx upstate.
Yeah.
What's it like living in Central Square? Do you have a good gym to go to there?
Oh, yeah. I train at Champions Pure Fitness with owner Jamie Suter and Mark Hutt. Really good gym. They have all the real good equipment, chain of 4 gyms. Really nice.
Are you the most dedicated bodybuilder in the gym?
I don't know if I'd say I was the most dedicated bodybuilder. I think I'm one of the only nationally qualified bodybuilders in Syracuse. I know there's a few women, but I think I might be one of the only males.
How did you get into the sport, considering there doesn't seem to be too much competitive bodybuilding going on up there?
Actually, I grew up in Lowville, which is even farther north, snow country, and I just started lifting weights a little bit after football season and swimming season, and got into it a little bit, and then I really got into it after I got out of high school and went to college, and started training at Gold's Gym and World's Gym out in Buffalo.
Was that a long haul for you to drive to Buffalo for that?
Actually, I moved out to Buffalo to go to school, and I trained there when I got, after I was out of school.
And that sort of opened up new worlds for you as your body got bigger.
Because before I was training in a school gym and, just experimenting with it a little bit and playing around with the weights, and then once I got out to college, I got into the big gym, and that was a little overwhelming for me also. All these big guys going around lifting heavy weights, and then I go back a few years later. I went back to the Niagara Falls Grand Prix a few years later, and I saw a lot of the guys that I thought were huge when I was there, and I ended up beating all those, a few of those guys that I'd seen years before.
Would that be the point at which you finally realized that you had a career in this sport, when you started beating competitors who you really hadn't thought of beating in the past?
I don't know if I would say that was when I thought that I had a career, or, I'm not saying a career, but a chance. I think that if I want something bad enough, I'll go get it, and this is what I want, and I think sooner or later, that's what I'm going to get, what I want.
Have you got a support system back home of people who are willing to help you with this?
Yeah, I have very many people. As a matter of fact, I didn't have even half as much money as I needed to come down here, so what I did is I hung a flyer in the gym, that said, help sponsor Jeremy to go to the nationals, or the USA's and the junior nationals, and everybody came up with some money and helped me out, and were very, very supportive.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, you're your own fundraiser, and not only that, but you're a successful fundraiser.
Exactly.
And you weren't even able to offer them a tax deduction for it.
Actually, you know what I did? I gave them receipts and said, you can write it off if you want.
Well, we're not going to let the IRS get a hold of a copy of this tape, I'll tell you. You get in deep trouble with them for that. But no, that's a really inspiring story about people getting together and helping you get to where you needed to be.
Very, very helpful.
Where do you go from here? What show will you enter now?
2 weeks I have the Junior Nationals, and then from there I think I'm going to take some time off and try to get, ready for maybe the Nationals, and not this year, but probably next year. Put some more size on and get another year under my belt, because I've only been training right now for about seriously for 4 months. I figure with another year I'll be able to put some good size on and do well.
So you're definitely shifting into high gear on this bodybuilding thing.
Yes, definitely.
Good. Well, since you mentioned the Junior Nationals in 2 weeks, we will see you there. Okay. And we wish you the best of luck in that competition and in the future.
Thank you.
With Jeremy Freeman in New Orleans, this is Carl Morelli for Video Action.